Welcome to day 5 of Local Businesses Pros 10 by 10 by 10 challenge, or 10 appointments from 10 missed phone calls in just 10 days. Today is the big day, right? We spent a couple of days training and testing your AI receptionist, educating your team, getting them on board, testing appointments with your calendar system to make sure it works with your current workflow in your business. And now we're ready to get real customers in using it, right? And so you could have very different opinions on this, right? And that's totally okay, because we've built this program, we built the software, our business model all around making sure that it works for you guys, our customers, right? The businesses using Local Business Pro. And what I mean by that is that there's no long contracts. There's no like cliff that you have to jump over to start using our product. You can walk into it and make sure that you're comfortable using it and it's comfortable having your customers talk to it, right? And today is no different, right? But it's going to depend on the software that you're using for your phone system. Now, if you are an owner operator, chances are you're just using your cell phone, and that's okay. We have a solution for that. If, on the other hand, you're maybe a little bit further along in your business journey and you have a phone system, you have a couple employees, right, the office staff using it, chances are you might be using one like Vonage or Dialpad or there's so many of them out there, right? And all of those are going to change how we do this, okay? Because you've got to think about it like a river, okay? A river flowing down. And what I mean by that is that with the way that communication goes, is that if you start at the top of the river, then you can see the top of the river. But if the river takes you down the river, right, then you're no longer at the top. Pretty obvious, right? So if I hop in at the bottom of the river, I will never be able to go backwards up the river because the current is pushing me down, right? I'll never be able to see the top of the river again. So let's think and imagine that our customer journey is this river, okay? And so how do your customers call you? You might have it so that you have a phone number in your email signature. And when your customers call it, it calls you. You might have it to where when you're out and you have door-to-door knockers, right, salespeople, and they're giving out your phone number, and that's the number they give out. You might have it on your website. You might have it on Google. You might have it in a phone book still, right? Yellow Pages, Yelp. There's all these places where customers can find your phone number. It might come from a Facebook ad or a Google ad where they land on a web page, a landing page, and they see it and they click the call button on their phone and it calls you direct, right? There's a lot of ways that customers are going to get your phone number. And the river analogy comes in because it's the start of the customer journey where Local Business Pro is involved in it, right? Now, obviously the customer was doing things way before this, but that's where we get involved. And at the beginning, let's use a scenario here, okay? Where it is an ad. Let's say you're running Google Ads and they come to your landing page and you click call. Now, there's a couple of different options there. Is if you have a sophisticated phone software and you want your team to answer it first, then what you need to do is send it to your phone system, right? And then if you don't answer, instead of the voicemail, forward over to us, right? And so what that means is at the beginning of the river, right, our little windy river, right, is that the customer connected with your phone software first, and then you guys didn't pick up, but then it was forwarded over to Local Business Pro. So for those calls, Local Business Pro will never have access to that phone call or that data if your team picks up first, because they called your phone system, your team picked up, and then it stopped there. They got out of the river rafting journey, right? They got out of it, and Local Business Pro was further along down here. So that means that if you answer, Local Business Pro won't have data on the call, on how long the call was, what was said during the call, anything like that, because it happened later in the river journey, right? Local Business Pro is down here. The call happened at the top of the river and hung up. Now, let's do an opposite one, okay? Where in Local Business Pro, and I'll show you guys in just a minute, we have it to where you can put Local Business Pro's phone number on that landing page, right, in our analogy. So call, visit a landing page, they click call, it goes Local Business Pro, and on the Local Business Pro number, and I'll show you this in just a minute, but you can actually have it try to connect to someone else first, and if that connection is successful, then like I'm going to forward to one of the owners, one of the salespeople, and if they answer and close the deal, then great. That customer will never talk to an AI receptionist, but because Local Business Pro is at the beginning of the journey, we have access to that data, right? So I hope this is kind of making sense. It will make sense when we dive in here, but kind of just think about that customer journey and where we want it to go, okay? And we're gonna use that analogy of a landing page the whole time because it is, a lot of our customers are using us to replace their voicemail on Google Ads, because if you're paying, 50, 60, 120 plus on a call, you want to make sure it gets answered, right? So, okay, I'm inside of Local Business Pro. I'm in my Conversations tab because I just logged in. And now what I'm going to do is click on Call and Chat Setup. So on this Call and Chat Setup, what you'll see here is my Local Business Pro phone number. Now, you should have gotten this number during the wizard, but if you skipped it for whatever reason, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed to a plan, and then we'll allow you to select a phone number, okay? So on this connect logic, this is the first decision we have to make, is that you can do connect caller directly to AI or live number first, then AI if no answer. So the differences between these two is if someone calls that number right now, it's going to go directly to AI, right? There's going to be no opportunity for us to forward it or anything like that. It goes directly to your receptionist. On the other hand, this live number first, then AI if no answer, you'll actually be able to set how long you want your phone to ring, right? You can do 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 and 60. And then if you do not answer, then the AI will pick up for you, right? Now, on this, we have to be a little careful here, because if I'm an owner operator, I don't have a business line or business phone numbers or anything like that, and I'm just using my cell phone, and I set it to 45 seconds, my voicemail is going to kick in before that, right? And that might make it a little awkward for the user, because we have what's called voicemail detection, and so we notice when there's a voicemail, and then we forward to the AI if that happens, right? So if you're on a job and your phone's ringing, you like double click to hang up, it will detect that voicemail and then forward over to the AI. But the customer might be able to hear it for half a second before we connect over, right? So again, just something to think about is that customer journey. And so you can set this for 15 seconds or 30 seconds, and then you add a number here, and if it's my personal phone, I'm going to put in my phone number first, okay? Now, if I save this and I use that landing page ad analogy, then I'm running ads and I'm sending people to a landing page or my website in general, and I'm going to want to put the Local Business Pro number on that site. Again, I'm an owner operator in this example. I don't have access to fancy routing software for your business phone number. I want to make sure that I can use my cell phone still, but that Local Business Pro is helping me. I put the Local Business Pro number on the website. Someone clicks on my ad, goes to call me. It calls the Local Business Pro phone number. It's going to try to connect it to whoever's number that I put in here. And if I don't answer, then the AI will pick up. If I do answer, then great. The AI doesn't pick up, and I can do the sell and I can close it. And you will see that phone conversation inside of Local Business Pro because Local Business Pro is at the beginning. Now, let's say that we didn't want to do that. And let's say that we had a sophisticated phone software, right? We're using Vonage, we're using Dialpad or RingCentral or anything like that. Then I'm going to keep this as connect call directly to AI. And inside of that software, I'm going to set up the routing for it, okay? So in this course, down at the bottom, you're going to see all of our links for all of the most popular phone systems for businesses. Vonage, Dialpad, all that down here. If you guys are like, man, I don't know how to do this and it's not there, reach out to us, right? We'll hop on with you and we'll try to figure out that software. Chances are we know how to do it. and all we're doing is setting up call forwarding, right? So now's the opportunity for you guys to answer the big question. How do you want this set up, right? You know how it works with the owner operator, and you have this call forwarding connect logic, right? Or hey, I'm a big company and I have a phone system. I'm going to route things how I want, right? Couple options that we've seen. You can do whatever you want, obviously, but what we've seen is that if it's after hours or weekends, people want it connecting to the AI, no matter what, going straight there. And they can do that in their phone system. If it's during business hours and instead of voicemail, forward it over to Local Business Pro, right? So that way your team on your software will be able to answer it. It'll happen at the top of the river. And if you answer it, great. If not, it's going to go to voicemail, but instead of voicemail, forwards to Local Business Pro. And that's where we join the river rafting journey, right? So that's how you're going to set this up. And it really just depends on how you guys want to set it up. Okay. So that's how you guys are going to set this up. And it really depends on what your goals are. Now, if you guys are confused and you're like, how does this work? Reach out, right? My little river analogy, I'm trying my best to make it visual and to make it to where you guys can really understand how this works. But it's another way to think about it is like, think about like the 1990 movies or like early 2000s where they had a desk receptionist and they would pick up the phone and say, hey, I've got blah, blah, blah on line 2. Can I punch them in, press them in, whatever the word they use? And then the big, CEO will be like, yeah, press them, let them through. And then they'll start talking on the phone, right? That's basically what we're doing, right? Is on your phone software, that's the front receptionist that just says, hey, when do I push it through to the AI, right? And then on the other side, AI first, we try to connect. If no answer, AI answers, okay? So there is a mobile app coming out. And so if this video is not updated, we're a couple months away from launching it. And that's going to allow a lot more flexibility for the owner operators that don't have that phone system. So you can do a ton of really cool things with call forwarding. So that way, if grandma calls you, the AI doesn't talk to grandma. Okay, but I'll save that for later. Okay, so we've now done the call forwarding and setup. Pause the video if you haven't, looked down at the notes and follow the step-by-step tutorial. Think about how you want it set up. There's a couple worksheets down there as well. And then the next step is the AI chat widget, okay? The AI chat widget is a very low risk way of getting customer feedback because it is a chat bot. People are used to AI and chat bots. They're not really used to it in voice yet. We're trying to change that. But what you're gonna do on your chat widget, we made it super simple. If you have a developer on the team, right? Maybe you have someone that you hire to use your website, breeze, easy, right? But if you're doing it yourself, we'll go over it. It'll be easy, okay? So if you have someone that's managing your website, what you want to do is log in. You should already be there. Go to the call and chat sign up, and then scroll all the way down until you see the web chat widget section, and you're going to copy this HTML tag, and it says script type text JavaScript, okay? You're going to copy that and send it over to your webmaster and just say, hey, can you put this in the footer of my website every single page? And then when you do that, you will have a chat widget that appears on your website just like this, okay? We're working on a user interface to where you guys will be able to change the colors, everything like that, icon of what this send looks like. If you guys want that before you put this on here, because this blue doesn't work with your website, reach out and we can manually do that. That is available today. We're always trying to innovate and create. So if that's something you guys want, reach out and we can add it. Awesome. So that's how that works. Now I'm going to show you guys on Local Business Pro's site in WordPress how I'm going to do that. Okay. So every website is going to be different. If you guys are on GoDaddy versus Wix versus, I don't know, there's so many. Weebly, WordPress, right? There are so many out there. And so all these are going to be a little different. And Webflow, is that the one I'm thinking of? I can't remember. So I'm going to show you WordPress, but the key is that we need to paste this in your footer or on the pages that you want live, okay? And so if you're like, oh, how do I do that for if I'm using like ClickFunnels or Go High Level? How do I do that with that? If you Google how to add tracking codes to X site, there'll be tutorials on how to do all of this. It just won't be a tracking code you're adding, but it's Local Business Pro's script, okay, that shows the chat widget. So I'm gonna come up here and go to my website. I'm gonna go to WordPress. Let me just get into the back end here, go to the dashboard. And we use a tool, let me move my face over here. We use a tool called Header Footer Content Management, okay? So this is just a plugin, and we're able to add in our Facebook pixel, like all of that content in here, okay? And this is how I'm gonna go in, and I'm just gonna click on add a new snippet. All right, so if you want this plugin, we think it's great. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna copy the JavaScript tag here, the HTML tag, and then you're gonna name it Local Business Pro. And on this plugin, everything's gonna be different. I can set it as HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. I want this to be HTML, and I want this to be site-wide, or if you don't want it site-wide, configure it to the pages you'd like it on. And I can put in the header or I can put in the footer. Either is fine. And you're gonna paste that in. And the reason why it's fine is because we have this async on here. So that means it's not gonna slow down your website. It was built to help with SEO. So it's not gonna slow down your website, affect page speed metrics, anything like that to your site. It's built very, very efficiently. And then all I have to do is click on save, and that's it. And it's there, right? And so I'm gonna also go over and I'm gonna add a new page. And I wanna show you how this works if I don't have this plugin, okay? So I'm gonna add this new page. And again, this is just a basic WordPress. And on here, I'll just say like test page. Now, if I'm using this old editor here, then this is only gonna be on this individual page here. So if you wanna put it on all of your pages, you can. I recommend installing a plugin to do it on WordPress. Other sites have other ways of doing it. And what you're gonna do on just plain WordPress, now if you're using Elementor, I'll show you how to do this in Elementor right after, but I'm just gonna click on code. And then here's the code. And I'm just gonna actually paste in the code. That didn't work. Custom HTML. I'm gonna paste in that custom HTML. I'm gonna save it as a draft, and we're gonna probably have two on this page because I have one site-wide in my header and footer, and I've got this one down here. All right, but there it is on that page. That easy, right? We just put it in here. Now, let me go back, and if you guys are using Divi, Elementor, any of the popular ones, I'm gonna come into here and I'm going to delete it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on Edit with Elementor. First, save that draft. Edit with Elementor. Now this is a drag and drop page builder. So if you're using one like GoDaddy, it could be very similar. Okay, it's just loading right now. Okay, I'm gonna click plus, go into this HTML, I'm gonna drag that over, and then again, I'm just gonna paste it in, and there it is. Now I can click on this and save as a, I can publish it, save it as a draft, but it's just simply pasting that code on your site. It can be in the header, it can be in the footer, it can be in the middle of the page. Best practices say put it in the footer, okay? And so again, if you're like, man, in our list of sites, we don't have how to do it, Google how to install tracking code in whatever website builder you have. And that will be it. Typically the tutorials are going to be about Facebook to do like Facebook tracking for ads. It's the exact same way for ours. You just have to get that piece of code on your website and it will put it in there. so that you have this awesome chat widget ready to go. Okay, let me close off of this. So that's how you get that chat widget on your website, and you now know how to do phone calls and setup. So for today, what I recommend you doing is, for homework, right? Get the chat widget live or the phone call live. If you're really happy with how it's been working, get the phone call live, right? A lot of time people think, that's not perfect, it's not 100%, right? And that's okay, because customers will surprise us, right? If good enough, 95% is going to bring in appointments, right? And then with real data, instead of just what you think, you'll be able to change it and update it so that it's no longer just 10 appointments in 14 days from 10 missed phone calls, right? But now we're getting a lot more, like 20 or 30 in those 10 days, right? And it all happens once you just watch the data and make changes. And that's why we've been doing that so far this week, is edit, test, edit, test, edit. Now, after we get this set up and we're really happy with it, we won't need to touch it anymore, which is the exciting part, right? So it's crucial we get this in front of customers so that we can be surprised ourselves. We can start capturing revenue, right? And we can start collecting appointments on our 10 by 10 by 10 challenge, right? But then we can get it dialed in, get it perfect, so that you don't have to touch it until you change your business model, right? And that's probably not gonna happen, okay? So that is day 5. It's Friday or whatever day it is for you guys, but it's been 5 business days since we started this challenge. Maybe you started watching some earlier, and that's totally fine. On day 6, right, second week in the challenge, okay, because these are 5 business days, 10 business days total, is that what we're going to do is we're going to start analyzing live customer conversations. So if you're not ready to go live yet, stay on day 5 until you are. And day 6, 7, 8 is all analyzing those live conversations and making those changes so we can get those 10 booked appointments. And then day 9 and day 10 is kind of reviewing the system to make sure it's perfect for you and your business. Okay, guys, I'll see you later.